Forget lust. That is for the frightful. Be brave enough to want real. I'm real. I'm standing here, right in front of you. Take the leap into my arms. I promise I won't let you fall. Hello, and welcome to the Sweet Madness podcast, where we talk about everything sweet and everything mad and everything in between. My name is Amanda Montoni, your host, and the poem you just heard is the poem tidbit for today's episode from my chapbook, A Grayscale Love Affair. It is available on my website and on Amazon and everywhere you can get a book. Today's episode is The Single Struggle Part 3. And to be honest, when I was getting ready to record this, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. So what did I do? I texted my friends. And this is what one of them replied. They said, how about people who feel like because they have more access to you with social media, now feel like they know you before they've even really met you? Wow. Okay. That's a big one. And right away I was like, yes, this is a huge problem in the dating world, I think. Social media has just totally altered the way we live. It has altered the way we think about ourselves. It has pushed more impossible standards on not only women, but men. And it has also pushed the insecurities of everyone. In the 90s, it was like, for women specifically, it was in the 90s, it was like, fashion magazines of models and like how you should dress, what to do to get his attention, or, what to say so he is butter in your hands, like articles and quizzes and with all those like catchy titles to grab your attention. Social media is exactly the same, but we are around it all the time. All the time. So how does this impact dating? Well, like the text said, because of social media, everybody thinks that they have immediate access to everyone. And we forgot that humans are human. And we can't all immediately respond to everybody. We can't. In a way, it's great. You get to show aspects of your life that you really, really love. You get to share moments that you really, really love. But then in those moments, you're putting filters on things. You're airbrushing your wrinkles. You're thinking of captions that are clever and are not really you. There's not much authenticity out there on social media. And if there is, it's rare. It's very, very rare. I try to make a point of actually being authentic on social media, at least like once a month, to say, hey, we're all human here. We all have our boundaries. We all have our bandwidth. Bandwidth is a huge thing, especially with dating. If you're texting someone and then you go to Instagram, you go to their page, or if you're following each other, you see they're active now, and then you create this narrative in your head that they are purposely ignoring you. Maybe they just want to be on Instagram right now and get that dopamine hit. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they want to get distracted for something. Maybe they just don't want to talk to people. Have you ever gone through a day where you're getting text after text after text, and you just like, I can't answer anybody right now. I just need a second. And what do? We tend to go to social media. We go to TikTok. We go to Instagram. We watch the reels. We look up art. We go to any sort of social media vice that we can think of just to get our mind away from something else. But what happens? That ends up putting our mind on something else. So now the person trying to get that dopamine hit and distract themselves are actually giving themselves more things to worry about. It's madness. And just because you go to their Instagram, you don't know who they really are. Everybody's social media page is chosen and made to look a certain way. Now, if we consciously do that or subconsciously do that, that's a thing. We could consciously do that or subconsciously do that. You may be thinking, well, I don't do that. Well, if you filter your pictures, you're doing that. You're fabricating your authenticity. It's like a personal, social media is twofold, right? It's a personal thing that can be like your own personal kind of like journal, but the world gets to see it, right? Then it's also now a marketing platform. They are selling something. They are putting something out there that they want people to buy, whether that is their personality or their product. So it's a twofold situation. It's not real, like my poem. I chose that poem because it ties into this. Social media is not the real person. It's only either parts of the person or nuggets of the person, and it can be fabricated makings of a person. So if you're a girl and you tend to be anxious when this happens, right? When you don't get a text back, but you see they're online, you're stalking, you're trying to see where they are. You don't know this person and they don't know you either. Why would they text you back immediately? They're not entitled to. They can do whatever the heck they want. They're their own person. Are you forgetting that? I feel like people are forgetting that everyone is their own individual person. They don't owe you anything if you just start dating. You know nothing about them really. You may know they have a cat. That's great. That's a blanket fact. That's a, first tier thing about someone. You may know that what they do for their occupation. You may know that they like skiing or something. You know these little things about them, which great. That's great that you know them, but that doesn't make them their whole personality. Do you know how they treat you? If you've been on one date, do you really know how they would treat you if there was a conflict? Do you know how they would talk with you if you needed emotional support? Do you feel safe with them? Like really safe? Or are you still a little hesitant? You don't know them yet. And just because you are talking to them or texting them or whatever, after one date, you haven't really met them. So what happens is a lot of people create these narratives in their heads. And I'm guilty of this. I'm definitely guilty of this. I not so much anymore because I've worked on grounding myself and saying to myself, Amanda, you don't know this person. There's no way you know what's going on in their head. And also people forget that too. We can't read minds. We can't read minds. The way that you read someone's mind is they communicate to you. And even then, they might not be even saying everything that they mean or everything that they want to say. I'm guilty of going into that anxious, well, what's going to happen? Oh my God, he's not answering me. He doesn't like me. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Oh my God, but I see he's out. He's out right now. He's out. He's at some bar. Oh no, he's going to hit on another girl. He's going to like hook up with another girl. And then I'm creating something in my head that I don't even know is true. That also goes twofold. Like I was on one date with someone. And in my last Single Struggle episode, I talked about how texting is false intimacy for like a hot second. And it really is, especially when you have not met the person or you've been on one date. Good morning texts are not my thing. I do not like that because it does create a sense of false intimacy. So it's two people who don't know each other, who are communicating over text. So with text, a lot of things get lost. Tone, intention. If they text with no punctuation, things can be taken the wrong way. It's it's just a madhouse in your phone. It's a madhouse in your phone. I'd rather meet someone face to face and I'd rather use texting to schedule dates than to actually get to know someone. All the dating apps are supposed to do, guys, you're supposed to say, hey, how are you? Maybe talk a little bit, exchange numbers, go on a date, schedule a date, and then leave for the night. You do not have to text every single day, because then there's this narrative in both of your heads about what actually is going on. You're attaching to someone. You're attaching to this idea of someone, not only through texting, but through social media too. You are attaching to an idea. You are creating a version of this person that you don't even realize. Now, I'm talking about the ethereal you. You may not do this. You may be like me and realize, wow, this is really freaking unhealthy. Maybe I should bring myself back to reality and go through the steps to do that. Because the reality is everything's going to be fine. If it ends up not working out with the other person that you're talking to or dating, then guess what? They're not your person. Stop agonizing over it. Anxiety and agonizing, and I'm talking about like agonizing anxiety with the narratives, okay? It sends you into a place that is very uncomfortable and nerve-wracking. You're always on edge. Now, normally I'd say sit with the discomfort. Yes, sit with that discomfort. If they're not answering you right away, but you see they're active on Instagram, don't freaking text them again. Then you're really like setting yourself up to be like, hey, answer me. Why won't you answer me? Why won't you answer me? And who wants a person like that? That's annoying. I'm sorry. Some of y'all are annoying out there. But, and so actually, you're actually just totally setting yourself up for failure. You're the one. In this instance, if you're like constantly texting them and be like, why didn't you answer me? This and that and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. Of course, there's context, but I'm talking about specifically when it's just like they didn't answer you after like a couple of hours or something. And you see they're on Instagram and the text wasn't even immediate. Like there were no problems. Like you didn't text like, oh my God, I need help or something like that. I'm literally just saying like, the false intimacy text, like good morning. Or, how was your day? And I'm not saying that stuff. I'm not saying how was your day isn't important. It is important to some people to talk about their day, and that's lovely, but do it face to face. See the person. See how their character is when they're talking about burnout or stress. If they can tell the difference when they're burnout or stressed. I know when I talk to people and I can feel myself getting worked up because then I'm living in the emotion for a second. I literally say, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm living in my burnout right now. Just give me a second. I'll come back. And a lot of that is learning to be present with yourself. If you're creating these narratives and, you're having this attachment to a person you don't even know, you are totally living in the emotions and you're not being present with yourself at all. And there's a deeper thing going on. There's always a deeper thing going on. But back to like the receiving end of this, like I remember like I was talking to someone and we went on one date. And I even communicated that I would not be able to really text him because I was away and I needed to spend time with my family. And I also had like a bunch of work events that I was going to that weekend as well. So I was doing that and tending to my family. And I said, hey, I won't be able to text or call really this whole weekend. I have a lot of work and family things going on. And he was like, okay, no problem. And then I get a text the next day saying, are you okay? And then he texted me after another half an hour, a question mark. And then, texted me again, like after another hour. And I'm just like, I even got a phone call too. I was like, wow, I literally told you I wrote it in a text message, and you claimed to understand the situation and, my work and my family time. And here you are, creating a narrative in your head like something went wrong, or that I was ignoring you. Like, that's what I said to him in my mind, right? And I was like, this isn't a person I want to be with. This is not a person I want to be with. And this has happened to me numerous times. Like, guys, I'm an author. I'm a theater person. I do this podcast. I do a lot of things, and I cannot give my attention to everything at once. No one can. So what I do is I communicate certain boundaries, because my family is very important to me. And my work is also very important to me. And going into this, I gave them the blanket statement of, hey, this is how my life is, and expressed it. And you said you were okay with it. And they said, sorry, the ethereal you, they said they were okay with it. And then this happens, because we went on one date and we were texting and calling, but no real conversations were happening because we weren't face to face. We didn't really know each other. Now, can you get to know someone over time through calls? Of course you can. Of course you can. I'm not saying that's not possible, but we haven't been talking for a long time. Like, we haven't been talking for months. Like, it's been like fresh. It was fresh. And I noticed he kept looking at my stories. I noticed that he kept, liking my stuff to get my attention, and like comment on things to get my attention. And I'm just sitting here like, I didn't even see all this stuff until I had the bandwidth to look at my phone. And the only reason I started looking at my phone because it was blowing up. And when I did, I was also answering emails, like work emails. I was doing work-related things. And I was getting work-related texts and work-related calls and all of that. And then I see all of these notifications from this particular guy that I've been on one date with, and it turned me off. Among other things. Like, I honestly didn't think we were a match at all, but like, I was willing to, just go on another date with him and like actually kind of understand and have deeper conversations, and to actually get a more of an understanding of who he is as a person. So I'm grounding myself through this experience, and he was creating a narrative of who he thought I was. Like, I remember our initial conversations, and this happens to me a couple times when, men are like, what are you looking for? And, I tell them, and I'm very blunt about, what I expect. And, it's bare minimum. I expect the bare minimum, which apparently is very hard for a lot of people. He was doing that, but overdoing it. Like, he was adhering to those expectations that I had, or what I was looking for, which was, it was great, but he overdid it. I remember talking about certain things and how I am in relationships, and how I am with people in general. And, how I really try to understand the person and where they're coming from. And, I take into consideration that everybody has different experiences in their lives, but it doesn't give them an excuse to relinquish accountability for their wrongdoings, and like if they're growth minded and like all of this stuff. And, some of the things he was like, he and other men have said this in the past while texting first or conversating on the apps. Where have you been all my life? And I'm like, whoa, right there. That's a big claim right there. That's a big claim. It is. And, to say that to someone, that's sort of like love bombing. But also in a way, it was like, yeah, I know I'm great. Like, hello, Like, yes, great. You see that. Lovely. And then, that's how, from my past experiences and my past insecurities and, how I thought about myself or how I thought I should be come into play here, and like being compassionate to little me, but also being like, yeah, no, I'm a badass. Any guy would be lucky to be with a person like me. But the thing is, then I retracted that statement in my brain. I thought, not any guy. Not any guy. So then I got really specific about who the guy was. And so from that statement, where have you been all my life? That was a big indicator that I think this guy now has an idea of who I am without actually meeting me. Because what it did was what I'm thinking happened. And I know, if a guy says something like very complimentary about me, I start thinking the world of him. We tend to think the world of people when they give us a really, really great compliment that, little us has been wanting to hear for our whole entire lives. And what I imagine he did was he probably put me on a pedestal. And he probably thought of all the possibilities of how this relationship can go, or like dating me could go, without actually knowing who I am. So he's missing all of the things that make me human. My flaws. I have plenty of them. Everyone has flaws. He probably doesn't realize how stubborn I am. He probably doesn't realize how nasty I can be. I can be really nasty. He probably doesn't realize, how annoying I can be. How self-deprecating I can be, how much I eat when I feel horrible, how much I overeat, and I still equate food with love a little bit. I don't really, but I do use it to feel better. Food relationships is for another story, and another time, but. Yeah, it's like he doesn't know how insecure I do feel about my body. He doesn't know, how I laugh at everything as a coping mechanism or a defense mechanism when I don't even think things are funny. I laugh so people can see me smile and I don't upset anybody. And, that's not that. I have flaws. I have big flaws. And he doesn't realize that yet because he hasn't actually taken the time to get to know me that much. I have horrible road rage when I'm by myself, by the way. When someone else is in the car, it's actually better for me. When someone else is in the car, I keep myself tame. And actually another person's presence in the car, if someone like cuts me off or like doesn't use their blinker, like it actually just their presence keeps me tame. But if I'm by myself, oh gosh, I'm like cursing and like doing all the things. I actually quote Back to the Future and use it as an insult. I'm like, hey, McFly, what are you doing, McFly? Like, I don't know. I put humor into how I deal with things sometimes. I act silly. It was just like he's expecting me to be perfect. And if anything, one of my past relationships has really, really impacted me with is that he thought I was perfect. And social media tends to create this perfection persona of ourselves, right? It is perfect because it's the way we want it to be, because we are in control of what we post and how we post it, how we edit it, what we say. And the fact is, perfection doesn't exist. It doesn't. And I've said this numerous times on the Sweet Madness podcast. Perfection is this thing that we strive for, but it's unattainable. It's completely unattainable. So if you are fangirling, I'm using the word fangirling. We're Jonas Brothers fans here at the Sweet Madness podcast. And I've had my fair share years of fangirling over them and totally here's an example. Nick Jonas was my end all be all in my teenage years. I was completely head over heels for Nick Jonas. I don't even freaking know him. I didn't know him. I've met him now a couple times, but I still don't know who he is. Has he recognized me? Maybe. Yes, I'm reading, Tiger Beat and, J14 for all these like small facts about him and stuff like that, but I don't know him. Okay, he has diabetes. Oh, he's doing something about it. Oh, that's great. I don't know him personally. I'm seeing him through magazines. I'm seeing him on, Disney Channel. I'm seeing him on stage. I'm seeing him in Broadway shows. I'm not seeing Nick Jonas because I have not cultivated a personal relationship with him. Now, I know you may be thinking, oh, but he's a celebrity. That's different. I'm like, actually, with social media, if through this lens that I'm trying to, kind of describe for you guys, it's the same thing. I fell in love, quote unquote, in love with Nick Jonas, but I fell in love with the persona of Nick Jonas when I was a teenager. Just like we fall in love with the persona of people on social media. I didn't script this. This whole episode is unscripted and I'm literally just ranting right now. Well, I'm not literally ranting, but I am just thinking right now. And I kind of am like, wow, I didn't expect to make that comparison today. I did not expect to bring up Nick Jonas today. Nick Jonas, if you happen to see this, hi, how you doing? Also, Joe, Kevin, I also love you too. Saw you at MetLife Stadium for opening night of your 20th anniversary tour, and it was bomb.com. My soul left my body when those special guests came out. So there's your love letter, Jonas Brothers. And so with dating, it's sort of the same thing. We kind of have this sort of celebrity feel for people because we think we know them on social media, and who knows where it's going to go. The only way to get to know someone is if you actually spend face-to-face time with them, whether it's on FaceTime or in person. You need to have the tough conversations, and you have to realize that everybody's access to everybody else. Just because social media exists, it does not give you the right to think that you have the right to demand response. You don't. If anything, I think everybody should be more aware of how they compartmentalize their days. A big thing that helped me actually stay grounded in dating was schedule my social media time. Now granted, I have a life that's crazy busy and is all over the place, so I actually have to schedule, like in the mornings, how long I'm answering emails for. I'm not looking at my email all day long. I have to limit my email time. I have to limit my social media time. I have to limit my watching TV time. That is how I got more grounded, because I'm not constantly bombarded with things that make me create narratives in my head or make me feel just more agitated if I'm agitated, or make me feel more anxious if I'm anxious, right? If I see pictures online of now of a plus size model, I'm like, man, I wish my body was plus size like that. Like I wish some of my stomach went into my booty. I wish I had more curves. I wish I had this. And then like that just sends me more into my insecurities that I've had since I was a kid. And if I see the person that I like, or that I'm talking to, or that I went on one date with, right? And I see they're online and they're not paying attention to me. Whatever. They have their own lives, and I actually do not get to see every single minute of their lives. Chances are you want some of your life private. You have things that you don't post on social media. You have things you don't reveal to the internet. And that's fine. That's okay. But you got to realize it's a two-way street. You can't get mad at somebody because they're hiding something about themselves on social media, or they choose to not post something about themselves on social media. Some of my friends actually just got rid of social media, and they are so happy. Some of my friends go they also limit their social media time. They love it. They're having a life. They are having a life. They are living a life. Social media is not living. It's proof that you are, but the proof is fabricated. It's created. And social media, again, it's great. It can be like a journal entry. It can be like a highlight of your life, or it can go the complete opposite way. And, if you're really into it and you're like constantly, just fabricating your photos and you have this kind of like character that you play that's not really you, you can't expect other people to be authentic if you're not. So what do you got to do? Get grounded, be honest, and be authentic. Maybe try, this is a challenge for you guys. This is a challenge. Try to post one authentic picture or a story about how you're doing during a bad day. I guarantee you people will be more drawn to your authenticity than they are of the airbrushed photo of you at some gala in a nice dress. Because they'll feel your realness. If there's anything all of us humans want, it's to feel the realness. It's to feel the authenticity. I'd rather be with someone who's real with me from the start and authentic with me and honest with me from the start, with all their flaws, with all their troubles, and knowing about certain things they choose to tell from their past at certain times, over time. I'm not saying totally trauma dump on someone on the first date, but tiptoe on your toes through this hallway, little by little. And then gradually, maybe the ball of your foot comes down. Maybe then your heel comes down. Then you're walking heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, and you're taking another step after step after step. You have to build something over time. Nothing is immediate, and social media gives this illusion, and phones being our lifelines, gives this illusion that everything should be immediate. When we should all try to pause. Pause. Take a breath. Time is still going. You have time. Of course it does. It does feel like time is going really quickly and there's no time left and all of this and everything's on a clock and everything like that. Don't feed into that. Stay present. How do you stay present? You pause and you actually live in the moment. I think that's all I have to say. So, if you are having dating struggles out there, I feel ya. I'm still in the dating world. I still am exploring, and discovering different things about myself. And it's all because I'm taking the chance on meeting new people. And I'm growing because of it. I'm seeing new places. I'm exploring new towns. I'm, cultivating new friendships and environments because of it. And it's great. Of course, I hate the actual, trying to match with someone part, but And, the part about, really getting to know someone, it takes time, guys. It really does. You're not going to know someone to their core the first time you meet them. You're just not. You're not. So with that, if you are struggling and you're not sure what to do, or you have a certain story and you don't know how to convey it, you know where to find me, amandamontoni.com. You can get your free personalized poem, and your story sticks with me and only me. I will not send these poems to any publishing companies or, public poetry collections for publication. I will not do that. This is just for you. And if anything, from my years of writing poetry, it's usually in the lane of romance. And remember, most people want real, and your poem will be real if you so choose to go there. I'll be here for you. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, amanda.montoni. If you have any questions for me, make sure you go to amandamontoni.com, the homepage. If you scroll down, you can ask the podcast. We're going to have a Q&A episode at the end of this season, which is going to be really fun. And we have merch. We have all that stuff. If you're dating, guys, I'm going to sign you off with this. Chase those sweet nuggets. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.